All right, guys. I'm Big Mike, and like always, I'd like to thank you for being here today. Today, Anthony from Sierra Chart is going to be talking about the volume ladder, or what Sierra calls numbers bars. He's going to be talking about volume profile, TPO charts. If you don't know what TPO is, instead of the traditional price by time or price at time, TPO is the opposite. It's time at price. And he's also going to talk about some new, what I call homework capabilities with his spreadsheet analysis of price and studies data. They've also made some enhancements to the trade statistics and trade reporting areas of Sierra, and he'll cover some other new features in the platform since the last time he was on. Before we turn things over to Sierra, we're going to start first with Julie at Velocity Futures. And like I said before I flip the switch on the recording, it's because of Velocity that Sierra is here today. So Velocity is going to do just a very brief introduction on their services, including the fact that they give you Sierra Chart for free. All right, guys, give me 1 second, and I'll be turning things over to Julie at Velocity Futures.
Okay, great. Okay, hi everyone. Thanks for attending our webinar today, and which will be featuring Sierra charts. And thanks for Big Mike, and thanks for Anthony for being with us today. And like Mike already mentioned, Sierra chart is one of the platforms that we do offer, and it's quickly gaining popularity with a lot of our clients and Big Mike traders. So that's why we are having this on today. So here's a quick disclaimer. Hope everybody read it. And on with just a little bit about me. And just a quick rundown of what's going to go down. I'm just going to talk a quick Q&A, then Sierra will talk, and they'll have their own Q&A after that. So today I'm going to be providing screenshots with from our customer portal, as well as from tradewithvelocity.com. And of course, the information has been altered, so please don't use any of this for any real, world decisions. Just a little background on Velocity. We're a full-service futures commission merchant. We were founded in 2002. Our client lists range from active traders, hedge funds, personal trading groups. We have IBs. Last year, we processed over 320,000 contracts per day. And in July of last year, we processed our 400 millionth contract for our clients. We've been listed in Futures Top 50 Brokers, Futures Magazine, for the past 4 years. And in September, we posted over $100 million in clients' funds being held for the first time ever in our CFTC report. We are a technology-based firm. We have been from the start, so this allows us to provide our customers with cutting-edge tools and to keep our costs down. This is from tradewithvelocity.com. This is our commission link. If you go on our webpage, you can click on the commissions. There's a pretty lengthy list of some of the products that we offer. If you click on the commission link next to each product, it'll open up another page. And in that page, you'll see several different trading tabs. If you click on Sierra, you would see the commissions. They go into different tiers depending on the volume, different members. So it's pretty easily accessible, as well as you can see the intraday margins and the maintenance margins required by the exchanges on the website. On our website, we also have quick links to help you open an account. You can see here in the top left corner. You just click on there and everything's pretty easily accessible. It opens up an online application, and it walks you through each steps as you complete it, all the way to the end of review and submit. This is a snapshot of our customer portal. Once you have an account with us, this is where you would log into to just view some basic information about your account, which you can also see your current positions and stuff upload on here. It's been highlighted here for this customer right there in the middle. On the top right, you'll see you can access your statements. Every day you just pull them up. Your statements are also emailed to you, but if for some reason you didn't get it, you can always log into your customer portal and access it through here. Down here at the bottom is the banking tab, which you'll be able to click here and get directions on how to deposit funds. You can print those out and give those to your bank or another broker. If you were trying to wire funds in, you would also click here to withdraw funds, set up banks, go that way. Also, when we have any important messages, we post them on the main page of your customer portal, so it's always recommended that you log in possibly daily. Any upcoming holidays, we post the schedules here. Any important changes to anything, we post them here for the customers to read, so it's helpful to do that. Over here are the several different tabs. I can't go through every single tab, but we're just kind of go through the basic features. But you'll see here this is the basic main tab. There's a platform tab, which would show your trading credentials. You could access them through there. That's also a link where we allow you to download the platforms. Statements, it's another easy access way. There's different transactions, balance histories, users. So there's several different features in the customer portal. Here is our reports tab. This basically these are several different screens, so I've kind of added them all into one to make it easier to access them. But as you can see, there's several different useful tools to customize charts that allow you to analyze your own trading, and each has a customizable link as well as able to export to PDF. And each of these, like I said, they're displayed in a different page. The top left displays a simple P&L curve over time. The top right is a graph of our daily contract volume. The bottom left are two pie charts into percentages of breakdowns of your winning and losing trades. And on the right is long winners versus short. There's also several other features not shown here, but you can see there you can select the different type of reports. You can change the dates. You can run it. So it's very useful to a lot of our customers. They like all the features that we have in the portal. One of our most popular features is the leaderboard. And as you can see here on the bottom left, it's highlighted in a little red box. 1,065 customers had opted in as of April 16th. So it's obviously very popular. You can anonymously opt in to use this and type in an alias, and you can gain access to view other traders' information. The leaderboard, it ranks each traders by gains and losses for the day. It displays current traders' data, including which products they traded and their current trade gains and losses, broken down by open, closed, and combined net. If you see on the right, it shows the today's ranking, the month-to-date ranking, the year-to-date ranking, and in green it shows the leader from in each column. You would be highlighted in blue wherever you would be on there. This is the leaderboard. We also have the next tab is the lagger board, which is just the other end of the spectrum. The next screen you can sort by product, and if you leave it unfiltered, it shows the largest gain in any single product by a particular trader, and it works its way down. You can select the tab and you can filter and choose any one product that you're more interested in looking at versus the other and sort out the rest of them. The last tab, the statistics tab, the last two ones they display the whole group and their overall performance of the day. The pie charts show the percentages of traders up and down and flat. The top set is all the products. The bottom two are byproducts selected in the drop downs, and the very bottom set is weighted by volume to give higher volume traders more of a sway in the numbers. So, I think I went back, sorry. The next one is another combination of different graphs and shows up, down, flat, different bar charts for customers by contract traded by volume, top contracts traded overall. So these are really good group numbers just to get an idea and a visual of how the group is doing as a whole. And again, these are all free features available to our customers once you fund an account with Velocity. Back to just our website, that was just a brief rundown of the customer portal, so you would only be able to access all those features once you fund an account with Velocity. On our customer portal, you can see the trading platforms we offer. We offer multiple trading platforms. If you highlight, you can see some features on Sierra. We can gladly set you up with any demos after you go through the seminar if you are interested. And as Mike said, we do offer several platforms for free. Some of them do have charges. Sierra has different service packages, so you can always contact the trade desk if you have questions about different pricings on that. And last, this is just a little rundown, shows our infrastructure. We maintain world-class data centers in Chicago, Houston, Frankfurt, Germany, and as far as the Chicago site, we are currently in the process of moving over to the CME's new data center service in Aurora to maintain the fastest possibility connection to the CME's matching engine, which is going to be located in the same building. We also provide hosting facilities with rack space in both Equinix and Aurora Data Center for black box traders and latency sensitive systems. Our network uses Tier 1 carriers exclusively, and we utilize self-optimization routing technologies designed to eliminate any bottlenecking. And again, if you go on our website, you can read up on all this stuff, so I'm just kind of giving you a really quick rundown. So if you don't have any questions, we can move on to Sierra, but this is just our quick contact information. If you go on our website, there's also a chat feature, and you can get a live person there. If you call the number, you are routed to someone in operations. Once you fund an account, make sure you call from the number you put on the application. That way, when you call the trade desk, your account pops up. We notify, the system will notify us that you are in a trade, and it helps us. So if you're calling from a different number that's not on your account, I just don't want to have any hang-ups there. And also here is our email. If you want to email, if you have a lengthy or question that may require more looking into, feel free to email us, and someone would get back to you pretty quickly. So we hadn't had any complaints on any of that. Okay, so if no one has any questions for me, we can transfer it over to Anthony.
Hey, Julie, I think that you guys offer package 3 of Sierra for free, right? And then package 5 is the only one that they have that costs more money. And if I remember correctly, you guys are just charging like $20, which is basically the difference between package 3 and package 5.
It's the service pack 3 is technically free. There's a maintenance fee, so we just want to make sure that people don't get that confused. There's not really a platform fee. We just want to make sure that you trade at least 25 round turns a month, and basically you would have zero cost to you. If you do the service pack 5, it's a $25, just a flat fee, which is less expensive than if you went to Sierra directly.
Right.
Again, there's, we want to make sure you trade at least 25 round turns a month, so it's not connected directly with Sierra, but I just want to make sure customers are aware of that.
Sure. Okay, and then I see a question here from Sean. Is there any time limit for sim trading?
The demos are every 2 weeks. However, if you need more time and it expires, we will always send you another one. You'll just change the account connection credentials in Sierra, and it'll last another 2 weeks.
Okay, so someone that wants to try it out today, they can go to the website and click the, was there a button for request a demo or something like that on your website?
Yeah, on the Sierra page you can. You request a demo, you just basically your name, phone number, and an email, and we'll get a notice to send you a demo. Or you can come on live chat, call. Anyway, we can set it up for you.
Okay, that sounds good. I think you covered it, all the basics. There's not any other questions. So we'll go ahead and turn things over to Anthony at Sierra Chart.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Julie. Hang on one second.
Okay.
I want to thank Julie with Velocity Futures for the opportunity to present Sierra Chart. And what I'd like to start off with is, if it's okay, Mike, I just kind of just like to start off with our trade reporting and trade statistics. So this is something we've been doing a lot of work on over the last 6 months, and this is right here is what's called the trade activity log. It's got 4 tabs on it. First tab is the trade activity tab, which provides you very detailed line by line activity of all of the order activity and fills. And then the next tab is a trade statistics tab, which provides you a lot of statistics for trading for a selected symbol or all the symbols you've been trading. And then we've got the trades tab here, which just logs all of your trades, and there's a couple of different matching modes. We have fill to fill, as you can see, up here, the top right, and then flat to flat. And then a new tab we just put in that many people have been asking for is going to show you for each chart. It's going to show you your daily profit and loss, your open profit loss, the open position quantity, your position average price, total number of fills, and the run up and draw down for the open position. So this gives you a centralized view. If you're trading several markets, it's going to give you a centralized view of your position. And one thing we've done is this window, trade activity log, is now a top-level window. It's not tied to the main Sierra chart window. So like I've just clicked on the main Sierra chart window, and it just, it's now just in the background, and it's accessible on the taskbar. And then also the what's called the orders and positions window as well is also a top-level window. It's not associated with the main window any longer. So this shows you your orders and your current positions, and these are all together in one place now. So now one enhancement we've been doing with the trade statistics and PL calculations is we now, rather than incrementally making calculations based upon the real-time fill messages received for a particular symbol, we just work off of the fills inside of the trade activity log. And if there's a missing fill, when you reconnect to the Velocity server, all the missing fills for the past week will be downloaded. So in this case, you should always be assured of having very accurate PL reporting and trade statistics reporting. During the last few months, we've had a couple issues with like the daily PL calculations, but we've got all that worked out now definitively in version 8.43. So we're really happy that we finally have successfully completed all this development. I see a bunch of questions here. So let me just answer a couple of them so I don't fall behind. Is there a version of Sierra in Russian? No, unfortunately not. Does your system work with Mac computer? Yes. I'm not a real expert with that, but as I understand, if you were to run like an application like Parallels on a Mac, and I guess that runs Windows, so in that way, being Sierra Chart as a Windows program, you can run Sierra Chart on a Mac. It's just a matter of having, I guess, an appropriate Windows emulator or just running Windows itself using Parallels. But I'm not a real expert with that. That's just my general understanding. Another question is, do you have a wizard to write strategies for back testing? No, we don't, but we have a spreadsheet-based method of writing, of creating like an automated trading system that's really easy to use. So I tend to think that's going to be easier than a wizard and give you a lot more control anyway. Okay, so let's go on to what we call numbers bars. Okay, so this chart here, this is what's called a 5-tick reversal chart. Okay, so this is when the market hits an extreme point for the bar and then reverses by 5 ticks. We'll start a new bar. And what each column you see here is just an ordinary, like it's kind of like an ordinary bar, but rather than just seeing like a candlestick or an open, high, low, close bar, what we show instead is at each price level we show the bid volume on the left and then an X, and then on the right the ask volume. So this gives you a very detailed view of the amount of buying and selling pressure at each price level. And this is a study. If you go to Analysis and select Studies, it's called numbers bars. That's what we call it. It's just a very simple name because the bars just consist of numbers. And if you click Settings, you can customize all the colors here to what you like. And we've got a few inputs. This is probably the most significant input. Gives you different ways of you can select different kind of information to display. So right now I'm using bid volume by ask volume, but I can also select this one, ask volume, bid volume difference. And what that will do is just show the difference between the ask volume and the bid volume. That might be a little more intuitive because you just have a single number there. So Dimitri is asking, is there a chance we'll add a Russian version in the near future? Well, what I can say is if someone is willing to, we would be happy to provide what's called the resource script file to someone, and if they're willing to do the translations from English to Russian, then we'll build a Russian, we'll generate a Russian build. So just contact us at support@sierrachart.com, and we can do that. Jim is asking, can you chart cumulative delta with Sierra? Yes, we can. So let me just show you that. So I'm going to go to Analysis and then Studies. And it's called a couple of different ways of doing it. Let's do cumulative delta bars volume. Okay, I'm going to add that. And the chart had to reload in order to do the necessary calculations, and there it is at the bottom. Okay. Another neat thing too is if you notice over on the right, you see an order entry ladder. We've got a buy column and a sell column. So this chart you can trade from. So let's just say after looking at these numbers bars, you decide that maybe this is a good place to buy right here. I just click in the buy column, and there we've got an order, and then I can just drag that order just by grabbing the order line, move it. And I'm also right now currently long one S&P future. And yeah, I got another order here too. Got a couple of working orders in place. So you can trade directly from this kind of chart. It's really neat. And so in this, these orders are just submitted directly to Velocity. Okay. So, if Mike, if you have any questions or anyone else does, I'd be happy to answer them. Anything about numbers bars?
I don't want to go out of order, but I did have one question. You mentioned some new stuff in 843
Sure.
on the TT adapter. Have you guys had a chance to enhance or fix the problem when you hold a position overnight, it's not showing the correct position price?
Yes and no. What we recommend doing is go to the trade menu, and this is on by default, and then go to global trade settings, and you want to make certain this option, use internal position for charts, trading DOMs, flatten and reverse is enabled. In this way, what you're going to do in Sierra Chart, in this way you're always going to be seeing the Sierra Chart calculated position average price, which is going to be accurate so long as all your order entry is through Sierra Chart. So Sierra Chart tracks two positions. It tracks the position. It does track the position data provided by the TT server. That's on this tab, Trade Service Positions, and then we've got the positions tracked by Sierra Chart. And this average price is always going to be correct, whether you're holding an overnight position or not. Now, one thing that we have done over the last couple of months is to ensure that the internal position data is always going to match your actual true position. So whenever you connect to the server, we synchronize the two. Also, the synchronization happens every 20 minutes, and also anytime the TT server sends a position update, we synchronize at that time. So, and the synchronization is instantaneous now. So there's almost no practical chance these are ever going to get out of sync. So it's definitely very safe just to rely on our internal position data and use that option, which is on by default. And in this way, you will have the correct average price. And we haven't really, I don't really hear about that much anymore. I heard about that more like more than 6 months ago, but lately, being that people just work off the internal position, use the internal position data, I haven't heard anyone bring up an issue with average price, unless this option is off, trade.
All right. I'll have to check my
options.
options.
Settings.
Maybe I have it turned
Okay.
off. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, okay. All right, sure. Okay, let's see. So what do you use these types of bars for? I don't personally use these kind of bars, but they just give you a very detailed inside view of the buying and selling pressure at each price level within a bar. So rather than just looking at a candlestick with 4 data points, open, high, low, close, now you see the inside view of what's really going on in the market. From Jeffrey, there's a question that says price ladder. If you can clarify that for me, Jeffrey, I'll answer that. So Chris Lee is asking, is this number bar study a paid-for add-on, as it does not appear to work with my chart? Yes, this is part of package 5, so you would need to obtain that through us or through Velocity. Can you explain a little bit more about numbers bars? When is a new column started? Yes. This is a 5-tick reversal chart, so a new column is going to be started when price is advanced to the high or low of the bar and then move 5 ticks away. That's one way that people like to use numbers bars, but you can use any reversal amount. I just chose 5 ticks. But I can just, I'm just going to switch to like a 10-minute chart. And in this case, a new bar is starting every 10 minutes. So you can use any time frame per bar that you would like. So Jeffrey is asking, do you have a price ladder DOM? Yes, we do. It's right here. We do have a trading DOM, as you can see. And we still plan to get to this trade window to make it more compact. It's just we've just been really loaded with development and haven't gotten to it yet, but that's really going to be started on this month, as well as enhancing our stops. What we're looking to do, we can see that a lot of people have different ways they want to do trailing stops, so we're thinking of just making the trailing stop configurable and just have many different steps to it. So you can just, first step, just trail by this amount, next step, move to break even or whatever you want to do, things like that. Okay, is it possible to trade from an IQ feed chart instead of the brokers? Yes. It's just a matter of you obtain an IQ feed data subscription, install another copy of Sierra chart, and then you run that copy of Sierra chart, and then you would go to File, and then open Remote Chart Data File. Then you open up a chart from your IQ feed copy, and then it's just a matter of going into the chart and setting the corresponding TT symbol. Does Sierra chart draw the demand supply areas or HOD? Is HOD high of day? Demand supply areas. Well, we have lots of studies. Available. Volume by price and volume value area lines, TPO value area lines, pivot points. So if there's a specific study you're looking for, David, I'm certain we've got that covered, which you're interested in. And then another question is 5 reversal bars, 5 ticks away. Mine, you price move of 5 ticks, 1.25 ES points, or count of 5 ticks. Yeah, that's correct. 1.25 ES points, and that's equivalent to 5 ticks. Another question is, are you planning to add a pullback column to this great study? Yes, we're going to get to that. We'll try to, I would expect in the next couple months. We just really are just doing our very best to get through everything. What does each number and color mean on the bars? That's a good question. These colors are configurable, but very simply, like the green just means there's greater amount of ask volume than bid volume at a price level, and the blue means there's more bid volume than ask volume at a price level. And then there's different levels of shading indicating how much, like the percentage of how much more bid volume or ask volume. If it's green, like how much more ask volume there is relative to, I'd have to look up the calculations, but it's either relative to the whole bar or just to the price level. Another question, I assume you can do algo auto trading with Sierra using API from Velocity. You don't need any API from Velocity. It's just a matter of using the automated trading functionality we provide. You can use our advanced custom study interface and language, which is based on C++, and create an automated trading system that way. Or you can use our spreadsheet trading system. Okay, is there an option to buy and sell and then trace contracts individually? Say if I buy 3 ES June contracts at different levels, I want to then sell them separately. Yeah, I mean, if you're long 3 contracts and you want to sell them separately, it's just a matter of, like right now my trade quantity is 1, so I would just, I could right-click this chart and just sell it to the market, just 1 contract. You can quickly change your quantity up here, up in the top left of the chart. I can also open the trade window for this chart and, change the quantity that way, or just use the buy market, sell market buttons or whatever. So that, unless I'm misunderstanding that, that's not a problem. Do you plan to add iceberg orders? I'd have to study those some more, perhaps later on, but it's not, that type of functionality is not really a focus for us right now. Can you tell a bit about the new link to quote spreadsheet feature, as very little documentation is written on it? Yes, I'll just briefly explain what that's for. That's only going to work in our what's called our no CLR version. CLR is just another name for .NET. While Sierra Chart is not a .NET application, it does have some support for it, for some .NET components we use, and that only works in our non.NET version. And what it does is that if you've got a spreadsheet up, let me just do no quote spreadsheet. If you've got a spreadsheet up and that's, contains quote lines, so let me just do spreadsheet, find symbol and insert. Let me just put the 6E here for June, insert. So you can, if you've got multiple quote lines here, you can just click on a line. So the idea is to link a chart to a particular spreadsheet, and when you click, a particular symbol in the list, the chart then changes to that symbol. So that's what that does. That's still under development, though. I mean, I think it is completed, but it is not documented, and it does work only in our no CLR version. Okay, so let me go on to the next item. Got a lot of things to discuss. Okay, so I guess I'll move along to volume. I'm just going to move along to volume profiles. Okay, I got one set up somewhere in here. Oh, here's one. Here it is. Okay. So this chart is it's a 10-minute chart of the ES futures, and I have one-day volume profiles set up. That's these horizontal bars you see that are red and green. And you can see they actually just start at the beginning of the day, but you can set them to start at any time. If you want to set them to start at 9:30 New York time, you can do that just by going into chart settings and setting the start time and time as you require. Okay. So one thing we've enhanced with this is you can see here this is like the value area high line for the last profile, and this line is the value area low. So these now can be set to extend until they intersect prices in the future. So they just extend indefinitely until they hit a price where the market, the same price where the market trades at some future point. That's not so obvious now, but as I change the spacing on the chart, it'll become more obvious. Let me just go to an hourly chart. So now you can see that we have lines at the top extending, from prior profiles extending all the way out to the right side. And we just put in yesterday price labels for these, so you can clearly see the price labels. In the volume by price study, well, one thing we've done is this uses what's called the volume at price data, and we've improved the performance when calculating that while loading the chart data by about it's about 40% faster now. So chart books are going to load a lot faster, and memory use is also down about 40%. And it's a very configurable study. I just opened the study settings, and you've got a lot of options here to do volume profiles. You can base it on the visible bars by bar count, fixed by time. You can do one period of fixed time length. You can have them based on a TPO chart, and there's various other options to base them on like a particular starting time and an ending time, or just to the end of the chart. Okay, and also just going to go all the way down to a 5-minute. If you wanted to just do a volume dynamically draw a profile for like a specified number of bars, you can just use go to Tools and select Draw Volume Profile. Okay, and then I can just draw a box to span the bars that I want a volume profile for, like right here, and then it shows up. And then you can customize it just by right-clicking along the top line of a chart, and you'll see it here. The date and time range is given, and then you just select that, and then you can customize it as you require all the settings. Okay. So Chris is asking, is 843 available? Yes, it is. That's the pre-release. Dimitri's asking, where do I find the third-party script providers for Sierra? Some of them are listed on our website. If you go to our main website and go to the main menu, and then there's a link that says links to other sites, you'll see some of them listed there. David's asking, is this for package 3 or package 5? I assume the draw volume profile tool, and that's package 5. I assume that's what he was asking about. Can I open multiple chart windows for multiple monitors? Yes. It's just a matter of you just go to the window menu, select detach, attach chart window, and it's detached. And then you can drag it anywhere, put it on any monitor you like. No problem. I'm going to reattach that. Okay, so Joe is asking, can you add start end times to volume value area line study? Presently, I have to use an overlay to plot the RTH values on a 24-hour chart. So, yes, Joe. Let's have a look at that now. Yes, that shouldn't be a problem. I think we can do that. And that's something else I wanted to point out too, that on studies such as pivot points in our daily OHLC study, one thing we've added that's really convenient is a setting that says use day session only. So if that's set to yes and you've defined a separate day session and evening session times through chart settings, what you can do is then have like the pivot points, or in this case a daily open, high, low clotheslines based just on the day session only, even though you've got a full 24-hour chart. So we'll make a note of that, to do that for volume value area lines. That shouldn't be too difficult. Okay. Chris is asking, is it okay to wait for a full version of 843 and use 842 in the meantime? Yeah, that's fine, but 843 is fine too right now. You can just go to the help menu on Sierra Chart, select download pre-release, and you'll get it. Does volume profile tool give you extend HVA and so I guess high value area, low value area lines? Yes, absolutely, Sean. Absolutely. It's just a matter of enabling that. So let me just go here. Let's see, extend the value area. I can just extend it to the end of the window. Point of control to the, well, you talked about the value area, so I'll just do that. Yep, so you can see that little profile I drew on the right. Now the value area is extended.
Hey, Anthony.
What is the price range is so large? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. I know there's a lot of Futures Trader 71 guys in the room. You might just show or demonstrate how you can have a composite profile for, you know, a certain start date range or however you want it, you know, like over on the right side, right aligned, and then a typical profile left aligned, you know, for every single day session. And I know a lot of those guys like to also hide the bars, so I know that makes it really easy. You can hide the bars themselves, the OHLC bars, and just show the profiles and make it look, you know, more like they're used to seeing for FT71. It's real easy to do to customize those.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'll just set that up now. Let's see. So we'll just do a one profile, a fixed time length. Let's say for the last, and let's see, right align. We'll set that to yes. We'll just highlight the value area. So this is what Mike's talking about right here. But I got to change. Let me just make that a little different. Instead of based on the period length, we'll do 70% of the window width. That's better. So there's like a 30, you know, profile for the last 30 days. It's pretty big. Maybe it is. Maybe that's a bit too much. But Mike also was talking about like hiding the. Let me just do that again. So I went to click CS on the toolbar to get chart settings, and then I'm setting the graph type to blank. Okay, and there now you just got a plain volume profile for 30 days, and you can drag the price scale up and down to see more and more, you know, more of it. Let me just switch the mode.
And then you could have a second volume by price, though, for every day that's left aligned. So you have the big composite profile on the right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right. Yeah, we can do that too.
So very, very customizable. And one of the things I also love about Sierra is how fast everything is. You notice every single time you add something, it's pretty much instantaneous.
Yeah, and that's even much more true with in the, you know, since about version 830. So let's see, visible bars, 1 day, fixed by time, 70% of the period. Yeah, so you can see, I'm not certain these are the best colors, but you can play with them as you require. So yeah, you have the profiles here, you know, day by day, and also, you know, the big 30-day profile on the right. And you can change the width of these if that profile on the right, excuse me, if that profile on the right is too big, I can make it less wide. Just go into the settings. And I'll just take that down to maybe just like 25% of the window width. Okay, so now it's not so big. Okay, Pete's asking, what is the price range is so large that each tick is too small? Does the volume bars adjust to cover more than a tick price range? Absolutely. Usually just based on feedback, people like to have bars, you know, at every tick, but you can set them to 2 ticks, 10 ticks, whatever you want. Like 30 days, we can just, let's set this to a 4 ticks. So now the bars are just every 4 ticks. Okay. For regular trading session hours only, is it possible to include overnight high, low, and volume point of control? I don't think that's going to work. If you just want, if you're actually just loading the regular trading session into the chart, especially with volume profiles, the data for the overnight high, low, and volume point of control is not going to be known. Next question is, can you combine 2 different symbols in one chart by using a non-time-based bar type, example ES plus 6E with profiles as a tick range chart? Yes. The general method of doing that is to go to Analysis Studies. You really would open up both of those charts that you require, and then you go to one of them and then add what would be what's called the Study Price Overlay Study, and then you can select a particular chart to overlay. Okay. Next question from Fernando. Will you add high volume nodes and low volume nodes in the future? Yes, we expect to get to that. Does 843 have any other trading system indicators like stochastic crossover? No, but those are very easily created, though, using like our color bar based on alert condition study. You can use like a simple spreadsheet type formula, and it also can be set to, you know, put buy and sell arrows. So, how do you show the keyboard for entering data? That's a Windows feature. You just go into the control panel in Windows and just enable, I think it's called like maybe it's done through the pen and tablet settings. Yeah, I like using an on-screen keyboard. I don't use it all normal. Don't use a keyboard and mouse on this system. It's all just touchscreen driven and on-screen keyboard. That's why the fonts are large, so that when clicking on menu commands, it's through a touchscreen. It's easy to get to them. How did you get the daily volume by price to show up? You just go to Analysis and then Studies, and then you will add the study called Volume by Price. So I'm going to add that. Then you go into Settings for it, and the main setting you're going to want to change is this one, Volume Graph Period Type, and you want to set it to Fixed by Time. Okay. And then the next 2 controls which control the time length are these 2, Time Period Type, that's set to days, and then Time Period Length, and that's just set to 1, so that's 1 day. David's asking, thanks for the answer, but volume by price seems to work with package 3 as well. Yes, it does. Are there tutorials for the spreadsheet function? Yes, we do have step-by-step documentation to work with spreadsheets, and we're going to get to that real soon and spend some time on that. Chris is asking, what period type do I use to get the daily profiles? Okay, yeah, I just used time period type is days, time period length is 1. Are the green and red bars bid and ask? Yes. yeah, these, it's probably a little easier to look over on the right here. The red, on these, switch out of that tool. The on these horizontal volume bars, the red indicates bid volume, and the green indicates ask volume. And these colors are customizable, so if they're a little too dark, you can change them here. They're set here. So like if I want to make that a brighter red, I can do that. Make that like a brighter green. So there we go. Much more noticeable now.
Hey, Anthony, do you guys
They're kind of faint.
Do you have an ability to create kind of like a synthetic instrument? Like if I wanted to take multiple underlying, say maybe the ES and the DX, the dollar, and some other instrument, pick some stock, is there a way to like synthetically combine all those into one OHLC, chart plot?
Yes. Yes, not really on a tick-by-tick way, but what you would do is open up all those charts, and then you can use something like this. The study is called Sum Charts from List. It'll add them all up and then divide by the number of charts you have.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, that basically would be it. Yeah. Okay.
On the plot colors.
So Jeffrey's asking, so those bars are historical.
Sorry about the delay on this thing. The plot colors, someone was asking about colors earlier, and one other really great thing is you've got multiple things built in. Saves a lot of time and a lot of programming. You can automatically color based on rising, falling, and above or below zero, or slope. It's all easily configured from a drop-down. Saves a lot of time. I really like that feature.
Yeah, auto coloring, right. And even there's a way of doing it now where you can even vary the colors based upon the degree of slope. Yeah, we developed that for one particular customer. So let's see. So Jeffrey's asking, so those bars are historical bid and ask data. Yeah, like on this profile on the right, this is going to be for the last 30 days. So yeah, it's looking historically, but up to the current moment as well. I want to have 15 days of profiles. Would I choose to fix by time, days, and 15 days? Yes, that would work fine. That would make sense. Unless you want one day, you want to load 15 days in the chart and then have 15 different profiles, in which case you just make certain you're loading in you're loading in 15 days, and you just set them to set the volume profiles to be for one day. Are you still working on an outline of VAP? Well, VAP is volume at price. Not quite certain, Art, what you mean by outline. Maybe you can make that a little more clear. I've heard of the term brackets within the footprint, the ladder. Can you elaborate on that? I'm not really an expert with, I assume when you say footprint, you're referring to these numbers bars. I'm not familiar with the term bracket in relation to numbers bars. Are you using IQ feed or something else for the presentation? No, this is all driven by trading technologies. And it's all, the data is, what you're seeing is all the Sierra chart processing on the TT data feed. Okay, Art's saying, outline meaning the red and green does not show, only the outline of the volume by price. Oh yeah, of course. It's no problem. So if we just go, let's take the 30-day profile. So Art, what you would do is this option here, bid volume and ask volume coloring method, just set it to none. And there you go. Is it possible to customize icons for toolbar buttons? No, that's not possible. Do you have VWAP and standard to overlay on the price ladder chart? Yes. So let's say we just worked on that study. Let me get the price bars put back on here. And then I'll just go to Analysis, Studies, and then we'll add Volume Weighted Average Price. Okay, so the study is called Volume Weighted Average Price. Okay, and I'm going to click Add. Let me just take off some of these profiles. And then I'm going to go into Settings. So this is set to 1 day. This VWAP study can be used across any time. You want 1 day, 2 days, 5 minutes, 1 week, 5 weeks, whatever. It's all supported. And then you can, enable the display of the standard deviation lines. So I'll just enable a couple of levels. I'm just going to click OK and OK. And let me just reset the scale on this. Okay, so there you go. There's the VWAP. So Art says, I meant nothing will show, just a one-line outline. Oh, okay, so like transparent. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's been asked. That's come up a few times. That's on our to-do list. I think you can almost do that now, but we probably have to add specific support for it. I can kind of give you an idea of what it would look like, though. Like if you just set the fill color to black. Oh, no, wait a minute, I did that wrong. That's the outline. Let's just keep that gray and set this to black. The only problem is this is going to cover over anything that didn't seem to go right. Oh, it's because the value area is set to be highlighted. Highlight the value area. Okay, now I got to say no with that. So yeah, I think that's what you mean, like this. That that works. Yeah. So look, yeah, it's looks like just by setting the fill color to the same as the background, it looks, that seems to work fine because this is actually drawn first on the chart, so it's not going to overlap anything. So I think that'll do it. Yeah. Okay. It's good that we can do that without us having to do anything special. Okay. Art's saying yeah, sort of. Okay. Okay. We'll ask us on our support board more about that, and we'll see what we can do. It's possible for programmers, vendors create own bar type logic, example, dynamic range, rencos, or other non-standard bar types. Yes, that's absolutely possible. Using ACSIL, that's our Advanced Custom Study Interface and Language. Oh, Art is, okay, that's Warrior Trader, okay. All right, thank you, Warrior Trader. So the next question is for using with all other studies for profiles. Yes, absolutely. You can absolutely do create custom bar types using ACSIL, and you can then put volume profiles on those and things like that. There's always a slight degradation, potentially a slight degradation of accuracy with custom bar types, and when you're doing things like volume profiles. And that's why, like with our Renko study, that is now a built-in bar type. Let me just actually go over to that one. So this chart here is like a 4-tick Renko, and it's just set up. If I go to the chart menu, you can see it's set up just as a basic bar type now. So you can see here Renko and ticks is selected. Okay, so are the new VWAP standard deviation bands different from the running VWAP band study? Someone pointed that out earlier today, and when we looked at them, they are, but we were searching around the internet looking for the formula because it's not actually a simple standard deviation formula like, for example, is used in Bollinger Bands, and apparently there's some different ways of doing it. And there's a lot of discussion among some trading forums, and we came across, like on Elite Trader, we found near the end of a discussion there, someone got a formula off of Trader's Laboratory, and that's what we used. It looked pretty reasonable to us. So, I can't say for certain, but I mean, I don't know that there's any right or wrong way of doing it. I mean, what we have looks reasonable. So, if someone gives us a specific formula of maybe some other formula, we'll look at it, but this looks pretty reasonable. I mean, there's a slight difference, but being the, indicator analysis is very imperfect to begin with, it seems to be reasonable what we're offering. Okay, so let me just move along to TPO charts. TPO stands for time, price, opportunity. So rather than, it's a whole different way of looking at the market. Rather than looking at just, bars that represent a fixed amount of time, what you're doing is you have these blocks, and these are called like time, price, opportunity blocks, and each block represents a certain amount of price movement and a certain amount of time, and then they're just stacked together, to get these profiles. So, you end up with like these bell curve type of display, and these blocks are based on a single tick. So in the case of the ES, that's 0.25 and 30 minutes. So every square you see here is going to represent 30 minutes of trading at a single price tick. And yes, you can absolutely, David's asking, can you overlay the letters on the blocks? Well, you can't really overlay them, but you can switch to letters. I don't know that actually an overlay would look so good anyway, but let me just quickly show you the letters. I'm going to take this up to about 4 ticks before I show the letters, so because the letters might start to overlap. So yes, you can do letters. So another question is, it's possible to combine multiple symbols weighted by factor in one chart. Example, and so it's like ES times 0.001 plus the 6E divided by 6B, and use this as a bar candle plot on a separate panel or as main chart. That particular formula you're giving that probably requires a custom study to do that, but it's possible through a custom study, and you could look at our sum charts from list study and see how to put that together. But just with what we're offering now, using built-in studies, probably that's a bit more involved than what we can currently support. Pete's asking, says, looks like each row represents 2 ticks because the letters are so big. No, this is definitely 4 ticks. It has to be. Maybe it visually looks that way, but it definitely these are definitely covering like one whole point of movement. So anyway, with this type of analysis, let me just put this back on blocks because I think it visually just when explaining it, I think it makes it, when explaining the basic concepts, it makes it a little easier to understand. So what you will find, like the row that's, like has like a violet coloring, that's the point of control. So that's like the price level. These are like one-day profiles, just so you know. This is the price level where most of the trading took place. So today, at least starting from midnight New York time, 1381 is the point of control. That's where the market spent most of the time. And then the value area, which is gray, is where the remaining 70% of the trading activity took place, and that percentage is adjustable, and that's 70% time-wise. So 70% of the time the market traded within this area. So what does that mean? It means that, as the market probably begins to pull away from the point of control, it probably will just have a tendency to move back to that level again. But of course, these levels are shifting all the time, so that's something to be aware of. David's asking, most of the time or most of the volume? In the case of TPO charts, this is strictly time-based. There is no volume consideration here. So this is strictly time-based. And in some cases, like for some types of markets, that's really important. Because in the there's global. Trading is going on all over the world. There's many futures exchanges, and if you're looking at a particular commodity, like the ES futures only trades in one place. But take gold, take oil. These are trading, on other exchanges in the world as well. These are huge, markets. So volume doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot in those markets. It can, but not necessarily. Another question is opening range. Yes, we have a study that does that, and I'm going to demonstrate that soon. So with TPO profiles, you can also do splitting and merging. Let's say I want to join today in with the prior profile. I can just right-click on this, and then we get our split and merge menu, and I can select merge with the prior profile. So now these are combined into one. That's really neat. Let me just merge in the next one to the left. Okay, so now we've got 3 days put together. We just worked on this in the last couple of weeks. Splitting and merging is now a lot faster, and you have the ability to, when you're doing merges, you can now, we added 2 new commands, remove leftmost merger profile, remove rightmost merger profile. So if I want to just take off the last day, I can do that, but yet the 2 prior days are still joined. I can do splitting. I can just click like on a particular block, and the time that block represents will be split. So now this profile has been split in 2. When doing splitting, though, you probably want to use letters rather than blocks, so you have an idea of what sub-period you're splitting from. Is there a data degap of RTH and Sierra? No, that does not sound like something we have. Okay. Is there any questions, Mike, you have? Anything you'd like me to show with TPO charts?
No, I think you covered everything on TPO and the regular volume profile as well. Okay.
Next question is, can you also add start-end times to the TPO value area line study as well as the cumulative delta bar study, which currently has only the reset as start of trading day input? The way, Joe, that works, I don't know exactly what you're looking to do, but the way that the session times are controlled is through chart settings, and you set a start time and an end time. And in the case of the TPO value area line studies and cumulative delta bar studies, they are going to follow these start and end times. So if you want to reset like at 9:30 New York time, you would set the start time to 9:30. You would set the end time to just a second before that, which would be 9:29:59, and that would be the way to do it. Okay. Well, then times based on local PC time is another question. No, you set a Sierra chart has its own time zone setting. Right here, you can just choose what you want. I'm using New York time. Okay. Okay, so I guess I'll go on to working with spreadsheets and doing, homework. Now, okay, so let me look for the chart. Okay, so this is the chart that I've added a bunch of studies to. And so on this chart, I'm just going to go to Analysis and then Studies. So Michael's asking, what is the name of the opening range indicator? Okay, I've got it right here. And in this list, it's called high-low for time period. Okay, so on this chart, I've added the zigzag study. Okay, I've added the daily OHLC study, and that means that will draw like for each day, it'll draw the open, high, low, close for either the current day or the prior day. So that'll be like the highest high, lowest low, opening price, and closing price. I've got volume value area lines added here, and then I've also got high-low for time period, and then this is set for the first 30 minutes of the day. There's also another study here that just says homework, and really what that is called the spreadsheet study. So over on the studies available list, you'll see spreadsheet study, and then when you add that, that lets you that'll allow all the data to be outputted to a spreadsheet. Okay. Now, the reason this says homework is because when I go into the settings for it, the spreadsheet name here is homework. Okay. So therefore, the name just changes to homework. Okay, so I'll just remove that. So what we now can do is I'll just click on, go to the tab that says homework here, and now this is our spreadsheet. Okay, so you can see over here on the left is all of our price data in the chart. This chart's set to 10 minutes. Okay, so this is all, our date, time for each bar, the open, high, low, close for each bar, the volume and number of trades. And this is real time also, so as the ES market continues to trade, you'll see this update. Okay, so for right now at 5:30, we've just got basically looks like just the volume of one trade, that's all. Okay. So now all of the studies we've added are going to be displayed starting at column AA on the spreadsheet. So our zigzag study is here. Okay, now this first column has actually got the values of the zigzag line. Now what Mike was saying is, obviously, you don't necessarily want to see each value, but you want to see, where the zigzag is actually reversing. And that's why you would then go over to this column, like the reversal price, and then you see, this is where you see this, indicates where the zigzag line is actually changing direction, and then we show the price at that level. And then if it's like a higher high or lower low, lower high, things like that, these numbers here indicate that. Like number 1 would indicate, let's see, so it looks like that's going to indicate like a lower high, because that's going to be like, that's going to refer to this bar here. So 1374 is the reversal price, LH. Yeah, so that 1 indicates a lower high. And then we have the zigzag line length, and that's a length of 9 points. So, once this data is outputted, you can then use spreadsheet formulas to, to do whatever kind of analysis you require. Now, if you want to use Excel rather than the Sierra chart built in spreadsheets, you would just go to File, okay, and then select Save As, and then once you do that, you're going to then get a standard save file window, and you can just choose to save the file as an XLS or XLSX file, and then you can open it up in Excel. And then as I scroll over, you can see the daily OHLC data, and you can see there for the high for today. Now this is just going from midnight up to the current time. You can see, the high for the day is 1390, the low, the opening price, and the closing price, and also all the averages. And then you can see over here on the far right, this is the opening range for the day. So today our opening range is, this is based from 9:30 to just before 10 o'clock. The opening range was 1377 to 1384. So if you want to compare this to, prior days, high and low values, or opening and close, you can then write formulas that reference the data in these columns, the open, high, low, close. Okay. And you can even, this study can even be customized. This is indicating the open, high, low, close for the current day, but if you wanted to have it indicate the prior day, you can then just change the study input to do that. But of course, if I scroll down, like this is 419, but if I scroll down to the prior day, you can see here the prior day's data is available. So if I go over to this section here, I got all the data for the prior day as well. And you also can see here we've got the volume value area lines data. We've got the POC, the value area high and low, all displayed here as well. These values are all the same because they're going to be. Oh no, this is actually, I take that back. No, this is set to draw the developing value area. So it's really at the close you actually see what the current values are, or for what the values for the day. But of course, there's also a study input where you can switch in and out of showing the developing value area. You can just show the, like if I want to show like the, let's say the volume value area for, let's say just the prior day, I'll just set this one to 1, value area lines of n periods back, and then I'll set this input to no, draw developing value area lines. Okay. And so now they're constant throughout the day, but based upon the prior day. And there, and as I make those changes, the spreadsheet just immediately updates. You don't have to re-export the data or anything. I know, Mike, you were going into a lot of detail as to what you were looking for. I'm just giving you the basic mechanics of how to access the data. As far as what formulas to use.
Yeah, you've done a good job. It looks great. There's a lot of capability now to do a lot of analysis, and the things I was looking at is like, how many times do we open, say, below yesterday's point of control, then do we go on, do we test yesterday's value area high, or how many times do we end up closing closing low whenever we open below yesterday's point of control. All those types of things are now possible with this study.
Right. Right. And you can still save it off to Excel too if you want. Just save it in XLS format. Let me go through some questions. So is there a built-in pro rata volume study in Sierra? Perhaps. I think there's a study called like Better Volume, and that might do something like this. I'm not really familiar with what pro rata volume is, but I think we do have something that's user contributed. It's called Better Volume. So you would just go to Analysis. Oh, I got to go to a chart. Analysis Studies, Add Custom Study, User Contributed. I think there's something in here called Better Volume. Yeah, Better Volume. So that might be that might do something like that. Automation. So Pat's asking for automation. Yes, Sierra Chart fully supports automated trading, if that's what you're referring to. Chris is asking, I can't get daily OHLC lines to show up in my chart. Well, it's possible they're just not visible, so you can, if you just right-click on the price scale, maybe they're outside the current view, and then you select interactive scale range, and then just compress the scale down just a lot, and then just see if they come into view. Okay. David is asking, in summary, all data on the chart will be in the spreadsheet, e.g. 5 days loaded on the chart. Yes. Well, it's not exact. Yes, you can do that, David, but there's also an input with the spreadsheet study. It's called number of rows, and that controls how many rows to output. So you can just set that high enough. Okay. Better volume equals relative volume per E-mini watch. Okay. So if there's any questions anyone has about spreadsheets, I'll answer those.
Do you guys have?
The question is how many rows? Go ahead.
Sorry. You have DDE linking, so yeah, is the live updating only within your own Sierra web sheet?
Yes.
Worksheet. Okay.
Oh, yes and no. Yes, Mike, you can go out to Excel live.
Okay. Awesome.
You just set use Excel to yes, and if it works, that's good. It's going to work, but I mean, it does have its glitches. So if Sierra Chart freezes up or something because Excel is not responding, then there's always a potential for those kind of issues. But yes, it does generally work fine, and it will update live.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just would say, though, just be a bit careful with it. If you're trading from Sierra Chart, you may want to avoid using it, just so you don't get any external interference, because whatever goes wrong in Excel is going to, be passed forward into Sierra Chart, and that includes even freezing up our application. So, how many rows can you use in the spreadsheet? As many as you want, but you're gonna run into some memory problems if you make it pretty high. But I think the limit is huge. There is no practical. Well, there is a practical limit, but there's no. I don't think we impose any limit. I mean, theoretically, it probably goes up to 2 billion, but there's not going to be enough memory available for that anyway. The alerts you script into Excel will automatically feed into Sierra Chart. Well, what you can do is, if you're looking to do alerts, I'm not certain what kind of alerts you're looking for, but we've got a study called Color Bar. Well, every study itself can have its own alert. If I want to put an alert on a zigzag study, I just go into the study settings and go to the alerts tab and just enter an Excel-like formula here. And we've also got an alert called, or a study called Color Bar based on alert condition, and you can just color bars, based on any kind of formula you have, and that formula can reference other studies on the chart. So Jim's asking about these lines on the candle chart. Okay, I'll just point out what these all mean. So this line here is a zigzag line, okay? Let's see, I'll just need to use this window to identify the colors of these. This blue line here is the volume value area point of control from the prior day. and then the green line and red line. This green line here is the value area high. Red line is the value area low. These thick orange lines are the opening range lines from 9:30 to 9:59:59. Okay, and then of course we've got the daily OHLC lines. This little orange line here is the opening line, and then there are a lot of lines and they've got similar colors, so I might have confused these, but let's see, the low for the day is going to be down here, this line, and the high for the day is this green line up here. Okay.
So, Anthony, do you have any, can you share with the group any plans that are coming soon to Sierra, or any ideas for what you might do next? I'm just curious if you're able to comment on any of that.
Yes. We're certainly doing some enhancements to numbers bars, like the pullback column. We're going to be working on order types, enhancing our trailing stops. Just some enhancements to the trade window, to make it more compact as an option. There's some, like on the spreadsheet study, the one used for automated trading, that's called Spreadsheet System for Trading. We're going to output some more trading statistics to that. There's a lot of low-level stuff that goes on. We're developing our own, changing out the fix processing, like when we connect to the TT server, there's a protocol that's called fix we use. We're changing that out to use our own code rather than a different fix engine we use, and that's going to just be much more memory and CPU efficient, a lot faster. We're developing our own spreadsheets. So Sierra Chart can completely run without .NET at all.
I know you mentioned...
there's lots and lots of things, and a lot of little things, just a lot of...
Yeah, and I know you've already mentioned that you're working on the high and low volume nodes, and I'm just reading through a thread here. Some people were calling for iceberg studies, which you mentioned you might take a look at. Programmable hotkeys. Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's on the to-do list. When we can get to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, looks like you guys add features like pretty much every couple days. So.
Right.
You don't have to wait too long.
No. Well, yes and no. I mean, some things do take us a while to get to if they're rather involved, and other things sometimes we can deliver them quickly. So, but there's always a steady flow of new development. It's most important to us that we're developing just software that just works very well. It's very stable. It's easy to use. It's just very durable. You can trust it. Doesn't give you any trouble. So that's our goal. And so there's a lot of low-level work that goes on every day towards that goal. One question is, will you add a limit time to market order? Is a limit order with timeout, and then if not executed, fire as market? I don't know. I mean, that's perhaps at one point, but that's not really currently planned. I mean, we're going to be working on our trailing stops to enhance those. That's what that's something we're doing with order types now. Is it possible to shade the IB area or add some percent lines above below the IB? Yes, absolutely. Like if I wanted to, like the IB area, I want to shade that initial balance. I can just do like, I'm just going to set this to transparent. So, okay, using a transparent style. I think that should be, that's a bit weak. It's kind of faint, but it's there. Let me just change the transparency level on that. That's 75%. Let me just make that like 40%. Okay, so there you go. That might be a little too strong, but you know, it's filled in. Now another thing you can do is we can go to that study, high-low for time period, and then display it underneath the main price graph. Okay, so now the bars are on top, so that looks a little better. Okay, so one comment is Sierra charts are awesome, and so is your support board. Okay, thank you.
So I realize I should know the answer to this, but Sierra chart is 64-bit or not?
No, it's not 64-bit. It's 32-bit.
Okay.
I looked into that. 64-bit. I've heard that you can get about maybe up to 10% faster processing speed. Maybe might even be slower. But it's really difficult to go to 64-bit because there's external libraries we work with that are not 64-bit, and I mean, it's very difficult for a small gain. We're going to get a lot more boost just out of using multiple cores. And
Sure.
we've done a lot, you know.
Well, with other
a lot more
platforms,
work with that.
I've seen them go to 64-bit just for memory, and I have to say that Sierra chart, I mean, I've got 12 or 15 charts up with a very long historical period for some of these, you know, long trend lines or big composite profiles, and I think the whole thing uses like 150 meg of memory, so I don't think it's a real problem.
Yeah, right. You know, and we've greatly reduced the memory usage when doing volume profiles, although we took it down a lot, but then it went up somewhat when we added the ability to extend the point of control and the value area going, you know, forward until future intersection, because we had to pre-calculate all the profiles. But still, it's very memory efficient, though. Yeah, and we've cut down memory use significantly in the last month.
That's awesome. I'm building a new 4-processor, a quad Opteron, 48 cores, and I can't wait to Sierra for the first time and see what happens, because I wonder if it's going to use all 48 cores.
If you're loading a lot of charts, yes,
Right.
it'll use them, but otherwise, once it's running in real time.
Sure.
Data downloading will be done on other cores and opening up chart books, but just when it's running updating charts, it's just using a single core. One way to get some, you know, is really graphics output, which uses a lot of processing. So one technique is you could run Sierra chart on a computer and then connect to that computer remotely using like remote desktop, and then you're putting really the graphics output on another machine. So that kind of distributes, you know, that's one way to do a little optimization and distribute, you know, the graphics processing to another machine. But no, it's not going to use, you know, all those cores when doing just its normal updating. But when we switch out to a new fix engine, that's going to, you know, should be some good performance enhancements there. Another question is, can I use DTNIQ feed for the numbers bars but place trades with TT using Chart Dome? Yes. Oh, let's see, for numbers bars. Yes, yeah, that is possible, Art. Yeah. Hi there. Is it possible to color the market session as you did with the day high-low? Yes, absolutely. You can use like fill styles with like the daily OHLC study as well. David's asking if I want to install a second version of Sierra, which folder should I choose then? Just any folder you want, like just put the number 2 after, like the default folder will be Sierra chart, so you could use Sierra chart 2, and that should be fine. I'm just going through my list to just see if I think I've covered a lot of the new features. Yeah. We've added some toolbar buttons for chart linking, like up here. If I want to establish links between charts, like link the symbols together or the bar period. Like if I want to change like the symbol of a chart and have other charts change to that symbol, that's supported through chart linking. Or you can also link by bar period. If you would change a chart to 5 minutes, all the other linked charts can also change to 5 minutes. And we've added some buttons on the toolbar to select a link number. They're color-coded buttons. I just added a couple of them, but just CL1, CL2, but you can add a lot more. Oh, another thing we've done is if I go to the File menu, then go Find Symbol, let's say I want to trade some spreads. Let's say I want to trade, like wheat futures. And then I want to trade some spreads on that. I can just select wheat futures here, and then I'll click Get Spread Symbols, and then all the spreads list out here. Okay. So you can just choose among the list. And once I select one, then I can just open a trading dome. So spread trading is supported. Let me just make certain I've gone over. I made a list of some stuff to mention. So one thing is, when you connect into the Velocity server, the missing order fills for the last week are downloaded if they are missing. Yeah, built-in bar types for Renko and reversal and ticks. I've shown that. Volume weighted average price now works across any time period. And I've shown the trade statistics stuff. Okay. Here to take any other questions, but I pretty much have completed everything I would like to show. Let's see, so questions, here's another question. Can you show an example to color bars according to a specific time? For example, lunchtime. Yes, so let's see. Let's just go to another chart that doesn't have so much on it. Just think of what the study is. It's I think it's called time range highlight. Yeah, time range highlight. Okay. So let's see, lunchtime. Let's just say from. I'm just going to pick 12 to 1. So we'll just do 12. Don't know if that's really officially considered the lunchtime for the stock market, but we'll just go with that. So 12 to to 1 o'clock. Okay, so I'll just click OK and OK, and there. This is a 10-minute chart, and then you can see now that. Oh, sorry if I accidentally blanked out the screen. I'm just looking to see what. Yeah. Okay. So you can see the gray area is the lunchtime marked on the chart now. And all these charts I've been showing, they all can be traded directly from. It's just a matter of going to the trade menu at the top and selecting. You can do chart trade mode on, or just select this chart trading chart DOM on, and then with the trading chart DOM you'll have the order entry ladder. You can put in all your orders. You want to do bracket orders, you can do that. So I can just put a sell order here. It's got brackets on it, target and a stop.
All right, man. I think that that pretty much covers everything. And we probably should have mentioned at the very top of the webinar that if anybody has questions on a general overview of the features of Sierra, that you've done webinars in the past on VMT where you've done a much broader overview of all the most commonly used features. But if anyone has any other questions, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Well, we prefer to use our support board. So if you just go to sierrachart.com and just click on support at the top, you can access our board, or there's also a form to contact us through email as well.
Okay.
Jim is asking, can you show the premium or the difference between the cash S&P and the ES? That for something like that, Jim, you really need to use another data feed like IQ feed or bar chart, and just use a symbol they give that provides that, or just open up charts for those and then calculate the difference between them. Kenneth is asking, will the fix engine work with any fix infrastructure or just with TT? It's going to work with all the services we support that use fix, but even though fix is a standard, there really isn't a standard. It's just kind of a standard when it comes to kind of like messages, but still there's lots of variations, in the content of those messages. So, but it will work with any service that supports fix. So.
All right, guys. I think that should do it. We're coming up on 2 hours, and I think you've answered pretty much everyone's questions. So I want to thank Anthony once again for his time today and going over in depth all of these features of Sierra Chart, and want to thank Julie from Velocity Futures as well for helping organize the webinar. I'll post the recording for the webinar on BMT sometime tomorrow. It's in the usual spot. Just click on the word webinars from the top of any page. It'll be there sometime tomorrow. And we'll be sure and invite Sierra Chart back again in a month or two to cover some new features.
Okay, great.
Thanks, guys. I'll see everybody on the forum. Bye.